Shalom. I want to start giving all praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. This is Saint Shemai Yasha'Allah Basar. This is another episode of Performing Arts. And this is, the name of this title of this is going to be Self-Control or Discipline. However you want to use it, because self-control is discipline. Self-control and discipline. How it will help you in the hour of temptation, according to Revelations 3:10. Okay, now the first thing I want to look up is the definition of self-control. There it is. Self-control. Self-control. The ability to control oneself, and in particular one's emotions and desires, or the expressions of them in one's behavior, especially in difficult situations. Okay? Especially in difficult situations. Why this is so important, according to Revelation 3:10, these are the ones that stood so stiffly in the hour of temptations. Okay? These are the ones that's not going to take the RFID chip. Okay? These are the ones that's going to have self-control, and they trained themselves to think with discipline. They trained their mind. So you have to have a mind frame in this. So let's read that again.
Self-control.
The ability to control oneself, in particular one's emotions and desires, of the expression of them in one's behavior, especially in difficult situations. Okay, and then it says self-control, cinnamon, self-discipline, restraint, self-possession, self-command, willpower, composure, coolness, and more. Okay? Now that's very important, because we know, according to Revelation 3:10, let's go to that. Let's go to Revelation 3:10. Then I got a little skit, a little small video that I want to show to you. Revelations chapter 3, verse 10. And it says, because this is written in red, so this is Mashiach, Yahweh Shah, our chief cornerstone. Okay, this is his words. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Let's look up patience. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Hapamun. Let's see.
Strong's G 5281. Upamane.
Hapamane.
Upamane.
Okay, let's read it again.
Strong's G 5281. Upamane. Upamane.
Upamane. And patience. That's very important. Steadfastness. Constancy. Endurance. In the New Testament, the characteristic of a man who is not swerved from his deliberate purpose and his loyalty to faith. Who should you be faithful to? Who should your loyalty be to? Should it be to some nigga on a corner? Okay? Should it be to your mommy? Should it be to your daddy? Should it be to your big brother? Should it be your boss that's so nice on your job? Men always fail. So we need a spiritual redeemer. And a spiritual redeemer, what did he come with? He comes with laws, statutes, and commandments. Anything else outside of that is vanity or death. Patiently and steadfastly. A patient, steadfast, waiting for, a patient, enduring, sustaining, perseverance. So that's the word we're going to get. You're going to stay on your course. You're going to be doing what no man do. Okay, or what man see you do, they're going to be like, that's stupid to them. Let's go back. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour. Let's see what the hour is.
Strong's G 5610, Hora. Hora.
A certain, definite time or season fixed by natural law and returning with the revolving year. Or A, of the season of the year, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Now, when you think about this, it says, of the season of the year, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Do not every year, all of these seasons come at the right appointed time? Does not every year, does these seasons, summer, autumn, winter, spring, comes in its right time? Think about that before I answer that. The daytime, you know the daytime is definitely coming because you know that sun is going to rise, right? Rising instead of the sun a day. A 12th part of the day, a time, an hour. The 12 hours of the day are reckoned from the rising of the sun. Any definite time, here it is. Any definite time, point of time, moment. So, let's go back. I also keep thee from the hour. Any date, a time, appointed time. What is that appointed time? That's going to be the hour of temptation. Now, to get that understanding, let's go to the temptation. Let's see what that word is.
Strong's G 3986, Pyrasmas. Pyrasmas.
Parasmas. Parasmas.
Strong's G 3986, Pyrasmas. Pyrasmas.
Now, an experiment. Oh, shit. Attempt. Trial. Proving. This hora, which was the hour, is a definite day or point of time or moment that is going to come. And think about this. Have not every kingdom have they had their appointed time? Or their time of moment? Every kingdom. Rome, Egypt, Babylon. Every kingdom had its time when it was a rise, but every kingdom had its Sodom and Gomorrah. Every kingdom had a time of this pointed time. It's a moment before being destroyed or before falling. A trial, proving the trial made of you by my bodily condition, since conditions serve as to test the love of the Galatians toward poor. B, the trial of man's fidelity, integrity, virtue, constancy, and enticement to sin. That's it. Temptation, whether arising from the desires or from the outward circumstances. Now you think about that, because it says in the last days, according to 2 Timothy, I believe it's 3 or 2, perilous times. Hara, the hour. Appointed time, moments that no man have seen before. So when you look at Revelation chapter 3 and 10, you have to be training your mind. You have to be training your mind. You have to show self-discipline. A lot of us is not going to make it if we don't attain this self-control or discipline. No matter how you look at it, or whichever way you want to choose, self-discipline, self-control, or discipline. You cannot contain or be able to see the kingdom of heaven that's going to be on earth, first and foremost with these scriptures, if you don't contain what? Self-control or discipline. And that's why the scripture says 2/3 of our people is going to be destroyed, because they don't have self-control or discipline. What they got is the kingdom of sin laws. And what is the kingdom of sin? Where we at right now, the shadows of death, the valleys of shadow of death, where no man is safe out here. There's no valley of death. No man is safe out here. That's that Mobb Deep back in the days. You know what I mean? But back to the point, being serious. Okay? Because this is serious. That song was serious too. No man is safe out here. I think I'm going to play that. You know? Because you don't have self-discipline. See, right now, with these scriptures, the reason why a lot of men don't understand it and they say this is a white man's thing is because the Lord ain't really knocking on their door. The Lord's not talking to them spiritually. And a lot of people think that we say that because we want to pull them in. We want them to be down with us. When you really sit down and think about what you're into, you're going to see that the Lord ain't looking for a lot of people to be into this. Whatever it say with Moses went out of the city, if you can find any man, what you think is happening around here in spiritual Egypt, the spiritual Rome, right now, the spiritual Babylon, all around the world where the saints are being tormented, okay, by this unjustice system. So Isaiah 58:1 says, cry out loud, spare not, lift up that voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression according to the scriptures. And that trumpet is talking about the Bible. I remember when I first had went to one of the brothers showed me that. What was the spiritual trumpet? And he said, what is that? And he said that was the Bible. And he showed me that. Brother from GMS showed me that. You know what I'm saying? It's not, some things are metaphors that the Most High speak to, but those spiritual trumpet was talking about these scriptures. Lift up that voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgressions. And that trumpet is these scriptures, and we lifting it up when we put our voice up on the streets and we crying out loud, spare not. And a lot of niggas is emotional because they have no self-discipline and they have no self-control and they have no discipline. And the only way that you can get to the kingdom of heaven that's going to be on paradise on earth if you have to have self-control and discipline. Because that's what this thing, you're refraining yourself from bullshit. And everything down here is bullshit. An enticement to sin. Read it again. Look at the I, B, and then one. B, then one. An enticement to sin, temptation. So this world that we're in right now, the valleys of shadow of death, it's an enticement to sin. Everything about it. Everything about it is an enticement to sin. Goddamn bacon in every goddamn thing. You can't get nothing without bacon these days. Everything is bacon, 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 bacon. It's an enticement to sin, temptation, rather arising from the desires. And what is the desires? The desires that's the world put out. These things that make you want to go off. The things that make you break the law, statute, and commandments, which Mashiach, Yahweh shall follow, and he never broke none of them. An eternal temptation to sin, of the temptation by which the devil sought to divert Yahweh, the Messiah, from his divine errand, which is happening with us now, the saints. Of the condition of things or a mental state. You have to have a mental state to serve Mashiach Yahweh. And that mental state is the straight gate. The straight gate is rough and rugged. What is it? The straight gate is rough and rugged. And only the Most High's anointed one is going to be able to walk that straight gate, that tightrope. What does it say? It's according to 2nd Ezra chapter 6. No, 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 6 to 8. The broad is the gate. Many run into it. Many niggas going to die. And niggers are those who are wicked. And trying to make everybody else go off too and entice them because things ain't going right with them. Or, to put it plain and simple, They don't give a damn about Mashiach, Yahweh, about Shem Yahweh Shah. They love Serapis. They love Esau. They're his God. But not Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. To put it plain. Temptation, a trial. C. Well, let's go back to 4. Can't forget. Let's go. Come on, man. Let's go back to 3. You skipping. This is all because you got to get the grasp of what that is. Of the condition of things or a mental state by which we are enticed to sin or to elapse from the faith of holiness. Yeah, get off the straight gate to go into the broader destruction. Come to my church. And God, the Most High, Yahweh, ain't in that church. 4, adversity, affliction, trouble. In that hour, hurrah! Sent by the Most High and serving to test or proves one character. Faith, holiness. Rough and rugged. Only for the rough and rugged. Kind of like John the Baptist, his garment. C, temptation, trial of the Most High by men. Rebellion against the Most High, by which his power and justice are, as it were, put the proof and challenge to show themselves. That's the hour of temptation. What is it again?
Strong's G 3986. Pairasmas.
Pairasmas. So, that's what it's about. Now let me give you Proverbs 15:31. Proverbs 15:31 to 33. Check this one out. This is a beautiful one. The ear that hear the reproof. Discipline. What is reproof? Well, let's see reproof. No, don't do it like that. Reproof. Reproof.
Strong's H 8433. Tochecha. Tochecha.
Tochecha.
And second entry. Tochacheth. Tochacheth.
I like that. That sounds like a
Strong's H 8433. Tochecha.
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 That don't sound like an Indian when the Indian or so-called one of them. Takachas.
Tochacheth.
Takaka. Let's read it again. I like that one.
Strong's H 8433. Tochecha.
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 And second entry. Tochacheth. Tochacheth.
To rebuke, correction, reproof, punishment, chastisement, argument, reproof, argument, impeachment, reproof, chiding, correction. Okay? For you to take correction and reproof, you have to have self-discipline, self-control, because discipline, when you're being disciplined, most of the time, you're being punished, you're being chastised, and it's not comfortable. You know, there's somebody checking your ass. And you know what I'm saying? But now, don't get it twisted with niggas with rank and authority using it for the wrong way. Now, we ain't talking about niggas that use that and say, oh, the brother didn't give you a change, suffer wrongfully. You told the brother needed $20, you only had a $100 bill. You say, well, cash that and just bring me the change. And he call himself not bringing it back to you. Or he calling himself sonning you. And then you go to complain to another brother. This nigga tell you to suffer wrongfully. Because the rank or the rank that he's in, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's some shit from the world. That's some shit the niggas in the world would do. Now have the the tabernacle? Have it let the world and this rules come into the church, to the holiness of God, to start using it to manipulate what's going on in the scriptures and telling niggas, telling your brothers who you're supposed to love, to suffer wrongfully? Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. They say, man, Satan is really moving, man. He moving fast. And then the head leaders of the circumcision of the body of the church of Yahushua, they don't know what's going on. Or they turn their face because they be like, yo, that brother been in here a long time. We ain't got time. Long as the money coming in, baby, woo, we could turn our blind eye to a lot of things. Now, what kind of judgment will you get? Anyway. Now, let's go back to that. The ear that hear the reproof of life abides among the wise. He that refuses instruction despises his own soul. Right, because you don't have no discipline. Okay? You despise his own soul. But he that hear reproof get understanding. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom. Because the wisdom is talking about the scriptures. You're going to accept that and you're going to embrace that. All 613 laws. And to the best of your ability. You know? You're going to do the best that you can. And you're going to have a pure heart, and you're going to have a humble spirit. And you're going to feel away when you see other brothers being taken advantage of. You're going to feel away when you see wicked. You're going to abhor wicked things. And it might be so bad, man, you might have to wind up being an evangelist traveling by yourself and just preaching by yourself. And Lord willing, maybe the Most High give you one man to go with you. If it comes to that. You know, you might not be able to go out there and teach a camp. You know what I'm saying? Because the days are numbered, man. The days is wicked. Perilous times. They don't want to hear about no reproof. They the boss. They the head niggas. They don't care about the reproof. They good right now. They don't. Who are you to check them? I just wonder how a brother say how he would use part of Esau's system and not get caught up in using Esau's system. It just makes me think sometimes, like when niggas be talking about, when brothers be talking about making rap songs and videos and stuff like that. Now I like rap. I'll hear rap. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. A lot of us, some of them rap songs be wicked. You know? And sometimes we just like that stuff. We fall short on that. We're not perfect, but most of the majority, we try to rehearse the righteous act. And any brother that sit there and act like he doing all all 613 laws, get away from him. That's a wicked brother because he lying. He might as well take Yahushua's spot. You might as well call that nigga Yahushua. What's the next one? Proverbs 19:20. These guys, I mean, everything's a big damn joke today, man. Proverbs 19. And I know we all fall short. And I'm not just talking about one particular camp. All camps have a little malice in them. Or unleavened, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All camps have that in them. We all fighting for one cause. We all fighting to be saved because we know that hurrah is coming, that hour, that temptation, that trial. And a lot of us ain't even prepared for it. And I hope when I pray with faith and trying to deal with people right to the best that I can, that I could be part of that great multitude. Or that 144,000. Which is of Israel. 19, 20, and 21. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in the latter end. that thou may be wise in the latter end. Perilous times is coming. You better be wise in the latter end. And how would you only be wise? By having self-control and taking in discipline and instruction and reproof through the scriptures. That's the only way. Because you're going to know how to move differently. You're going to have a little spark. You're going to have that little pep in your step. Then these other 2/3 that's set up for destruction. You're going to stand in a class by yourself. The desire of a man his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. See, yeah, because you got the nation, they're liars. Esau thinks himself as God. He's a liar. Your people follow into the churches and saying God is in those temples. They're liars. And then when you try to reproof them or show them that they're wrong, they don't want to hear that, even if you show them out with the scriptures, because their emotions get into it. Remember, I just showed you with self-discipline, self-control, and discipline. They ain't got none. They don't got it. You have to train yourself to get that, to grasp that, according to the scriptures. Not men's doctrine, not men's literature, through the scriptures. The desire of a man in his kindness. 19 and 20. Hear counsel and receive instructions. This is Proverbs 19 and 20. Hear counsel and receive instructions, that thou may be wise in the latter end. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. We could read more, but I want to stay on that. See that? There are many devices in a man's heart. Yeah, because men go off. And man is definitely going to go off when he don't know the counsel of God, the oracles of the Most High. Chiefly because they was given into the oracles of God. Believe that's the commandments of the Lord. See that? Oracles. Is that in here? Yeah, let's go to that. Acts 7 and 8. Acts 7:38. I don't wish no bad on nobody. I wish all my brothers could get salvation, but I know there's a appointed time for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Good or evil. I just hope that it's my appointed time to be on the right-hand side. That's all I care about. But sometimes I got to get a little rough and rugged on these brothers that's in the docile state of mind. They think that they too much of themselves, and then they don't check what's around them, but they giving you all this goddamn advice, and their own home is nasty and disgusting. They got shit all over their house, but they telling you how to do your house. Acts 7:38. Where is it at? This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spoke to him at Mount Sinai, and with the fathers. We received the lively oracles to give unto us. I just want to know what oracles is. I should just went to the, you know what? Let me go to this. Oracles. I'll make sure what I'm saying is right. Instead of, you don't want to be a wingman.
Strong's G 3051. Logion. Logion.
Logion. That's the oracle. What is that? A brief utterance, a divine oracle. Yeah, in the New Testament, the words or utterance of the Most High, which is what? Or of the contents of the Mosaic law. There it is. Like a thought. Now, what I want to go into is this video I seen to Adam for edification. positive frequency. Where's it at? Just bear with me. Self-discipline. Why self-discipline is so hard? This is a little cheap, quick thing to the point.
What's up? The hot new thing right now for people trying to make money is Shopify, which is basically drop shipping. I want to compare right now.
My bad.
This video was made possible by The Great Courses Plus. Click the link in the description to get your free trial.
This is something to think about.
This is Odin, also known as the Allfather. He will become the wisest and most powerful of the Norse gods, but not yet. For now, he hangs from Yggdrasil, the world tree.
Remember, this is the open your mind. You know what I'm saying? How we going to use the scriptures to dissect this. So we know that Odin is not the Most High. We know Yahweh is the Most High. So just in case you chumps, you know what I'm saying, the suckers on the sideline got something to say, you know what I'm saying, I'll check you before you even say something. But anyway, continue with the video.
That holds all 9 worlds together with a spear lodged in his chest. He will hang there for 9 days and 9 nights on the border between life and death. All the while, he peers down into the magical waters of the well below, calling out for the godly knowledge of the runes. Satisfied with the sacrifice, they emerge, revealing to him their wisdom and bestowing him with great power. Odin had given himself to himself, or more specifically, he sacrificed his present self for his future self. It's no coincidence.
He sacrificed his present self to his future self. Now, the reason why I say that, isn't it a scripture that tells us right now, we know that we're trying to get a reward. That's why we do this. But right now, we can't get our reward right now. Okay? But we're setting up in our mind self-discipline. Because think about this. That's real, that's real, I like to use that word. That's real rough and rugged. I mean, what I mean by rough and rugged, that's like glorious, beautiful, yapa. Because now think about it. You setting yourself up for your spirit and your mind and your thinking is outside of the world. It's not on the things of this world. What I mean by that is that you got a more higher calling. Like shit around you don't oppress you. You be like, because you know that the things in the kingdom of heaven is more established. The things of the Lord is more established, is more beautiful. There's nothing down here that man can give you. So it's like you're in a realm of earth, but your mind thoughts is not in this realm. Your mind thoughts is in another realm of let's say like your mind thoughts is in the realm of the celestial lights of above. Through the scriptures. Because you know in the kingdom of heaven, you know it's going to be 10 times better than it. So you're not even thinking about this shit down here. You're like, all right, I got a job. I'm happy because the Lord gave me the job and this is my trial. Okay? I'm going through trials right now, but I know that I'm seeking the kingdom of heaven at first, and I know everything is going to be added to me. What can man give me that the Most High can give me that's 10 times better? So I'm in this realm of earth, but I don't think of the things of the earth. I think of things of the celestial lights. Go ahead.
Incidents that he had to perform the greatest sacrifice for the greatest reward. This story is at the...
You have to think about the greatest sacrifice for the greatest reward. Okay?
Least a metaphor for self-sacrifice or self-discipline. And it's one...
Self-sacrifice and self-discipline.
...that we've been telling for generations. Humanity has held a virtue of self-control in such high regards that it's a staple in most religions and the moral of many myths. In Christianity, the first sin, eating the forbidden fruit, was a lapse in self-control. In Greek mythology, evil entered the world when Pandora could not control her curiosity and opened the box. This myth in particular has even entered our everyday language. If I want you to avoid a temptation for fear of causing disastrous consequences, I might warn you against opening Pandora's box. The elevation of this virtue to religious and mythic proportions highlights a commonly held belief. Self-discipline plays a huge role in leading you to your best future, as in the case of Odin, or your worst one, as with Pandora. If this is true, it seems like it would be great if we could all have some more self-discipline. But what is self-discipline? People often use the term to describe someone who makes good long-term decisions by overcoming short-term temptations. But when you ask them how they overcome these short-term temptations, they often invoke some sort of will or willpower. What will actually means isn't really obvious. But before we get to that, let's start at the beginning. The decision. At any point in time, you're making a decision on how to act. The difficulty arises when you have to make a decision between what's immediately gratifying versus what is not gratifying now, but will be in the future. In other words, the difficulty lies in delaying gratification. But what causes you to not act?
Or what's not gratifying now, but will be gratified in the future. So right now, the places and the things that we live in this realm on earth, okay, work, food, clothes, shelter, health, whatever you need, you know what I'm saying? You know that the kingdom of come is better than that. So the future gratification, even though it's not here and you can't see it, but you can't taint it, but you know through faith, through Mashiach Yahawashah, you're going to get that, which is better than what man can give you. And no sickness and other blessings that come with that you can't even attain down here.
Impulsively. The reason for any single decision you make is multivariate. Genes, hormones, evolution, social environment, physical environment, past experience, context of the situation, and a multitude of other factors all play a role. But the most immediate cause of any of your actions can be traced back to your brain activity. When discussing self-discipline, one of the best places to start is with the neurotransmitter dopamine. In his book Behave, Robert Sapolsky puts forth an example that clarifies at least one of the primary roles of dopamine in our brains. Let's say that I take a monkey and stick him in a cage. Now, I put a lever in there that, if he pushes it 10 times, rewards him with a raisin. Next, I turn on a light that comes on before the lever enters the cage. In other words, the light signals that the lever will be entering the cage, which, in turn, signals that the monkey will be able to get a raisin. As a result, the monkey learns to associate the cue, a light, with the reward, a raisin. Interestingly, the monkey will begin to release more dopamine in response to the light than he does when consuming his reward. Contrary to popular belief, dopamine is about anticipation more than it is about reward. Certain cues in our environment hint at a potential reward, and dopamine starts to rise in anticipation. Dopamine is what gets us to take action with respect to a goal. So how does this relate to self-discipline? Let's say that you're deciding between an immediate reward and a delayed reward. When you think about the immediate reward, dopamine is sent to certain parts of the brain known as limbic targets. When you think of the delayed reward, dopamine is sent to a different part of the brain known as frontocortical targets. If the part of the brain associated with delayed rewards is more stimulated, you're more likely to delay gratification. Again, dopamine plays a role in driving our action. So how does your brain decide how much dopamine is sent to each part? Again, this comes down to several complex factors such as past experiences, genes, hormones, social environment, physical environment, the context of the situation, and so on. But pragmatically, the brain's decision is affected by how pleasurable the reward is and how much time it takes to get that reward. Here's an example to help you understand it intuitively. Let's say that I make you an offer. You can have $100 today or $100 tomorrow. The reward is the same, but the time delay is greater in the second scenario. You'll probably take the $100 today because there's no point in waiting until tomorrow. But what if I said that you could get $100 today or $200 tomorrow? It's more likely that you'll be willing to wait if an extra $100 is pleasurable enough. But what if I said that if you wait...
Now, I like that scenario too, because that reminds me of what a lot of the people today think. They have the thinking mentality of Esau and the heathen nations. Their mind frame is in this realm, but not in the realm of the celestial lights of the spiritual things of heaven, which is this book, because this book is the oracles of God. Okay, so their mind frame is what? In the mind frame of the realm of earth. Okay, and I say that to be sarcastic, because they're earthly things. Okay, so now what they're doing is this: they're thinking of, fuck that, I need that money today. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what tomorrow promised me. But the kingdom of heaven is far more greater, far more beautiful. You know what I'm saying? You just got to trust and believe. If the Most High made everything in earth and that in this realm, and then the new world to come is going to be better than that, I put my trust into the future thing that I can't see, but I know that it's going to take place. In other words,
Till tomorrow you could get $101. You'll probably revert back to taking the $100 today. Your brain does multiple calculations like this every time you decide. It creates a sense of wanting or reward seeking based on the speed and size of a reward. So how do you end up determining what rewards to seek? To live life is to have desires. The world fills you up with needs and wants, inviting you to come and interact with it. Every time you satisfy a desire, you receive an internal reward and a belief forms about how you did it. When that desire reemerges, your brain activates the corresponding belief circuitry and dopamine releases in anticipation of the reward, and this motivates you to repeat the same action as before. In other words, you begin to form a habit. With each repetition, the neural pathway strengthens and you solidify the habit's role as a solution to your desire. Here's the punchline. Habits mediate the relationship between an individual's desires and their environment. To change the habit, the individual, the environment, or both have to change, and that's why self-discipline is so hard. We don't have very much control over the biology that determines our desires. According to Sapolsky, individuals with ADHD have abnormal dopamine responses when thinking about immediate rewards versus delayed ones. They're biased towards impulsive action. Individuals who experience a childhood adversity are more likely to have an underdeveloped frontal cortex, making delayed gratification more difficult. Eventually, we may be able to change an individual's biology using science, but the morality and long-term consequences of this are questionable. There is a part of our biology that is more...
See, long-term is questionable with their scientific ways. Okay, so they don't have all the answers. But that's who our people run to and trust into the things of Egypt. Figuratively speaking, they trust into this government.
Malleable, the brain. An individual can be changed with education. As people learn more about the world, they can test out new beliefs and reinforce new behaviors. But this leads me to the heart of the issue. Self-discipline is much more of an environmental problem than it is an individual one. While an individual can change their beliefs and behaviors through education, the resources available for education are presented by the environment.
And this should be your first education, the education of these scriptures, okay? You should be learning this. Now, if you want to get a trade and you want to get other things to advance yourself for a little pay, I can understand that. But your first base and your first foremost, you should be making love with these scriptures. You should be kissing the sun. And that's kissing these scriptures. Meditating on it day and night. That would be your wisdom and your stability.
Furthermore, the habits an individual builds to meet their desires are, in large part, a product of what's available in the environment. A study done by neuroscientist Carl Hart found that when meth addicts were given a choice between $5 and 50 milligrams of meth, the addicts took the $5 half of the time. When he increased the value of the cash reward to $20, they almost never took the drug. He found similar results with crack cocaine addicts. Hart suggests that addicts are actually rational decision makers and will choose not to take a drug when there are alternative reinforcers. It seems that drug habits are more likely to be formed when individuals are in an environment that offers no alternative or competing ways to meet their desires. Bruce Alexander found similar results when he conducted his now famous study, Rat Park. Prior to Alexander's study, it was commonly believed that addiction was caused primarily by drugs. When you take a drug, you get addicted. That's how the story went. But Alexander noticed that most drug-related studies occurring at the time placed rats in isolation. He wondered if this played a role in the rats deciding to take the drug. It turns out that it did. When rats were in isolation, it wouldn't be a surprise to see them consume a drug until they died. But when Alexander constructed a rat park, complete with friends, sexual partners, toys, and so on.
Now, that part with the isolation, when they did the experiment with the rat, think about this. Now, it don't go to all people, but a lot of us, we're confined to environment and other wicked things around us. We're confined to what? We start taking drugs because we don't see no alternative out. But see, here's the great thing and wonderful work of the scriptures. The scriptures, like I said, you are here, but your mind frame is outside of the box. You know what I'm saying? You want to try other different things. You want to, the scriptures dissect the things in the environment. Like we know that Esau planted these things for us to self-destruct. So he put us in there. You know, and then your moms and your dad, they don't know they didn't know nothing. They just following suit. You know what I'm saying? In order to grow, You have to think outside of the box. And the first foremost is the scriptures. Because first you have to know your environment. What is around in your environment? Enemies are trying to kill you. That's why they have so much liquor stores in there. Okay? Then they pick the drugs and they put it in and flood it in your community. Therefore, you are stagnated. You're not going to, there's no way out for you. But yet and still they can get money from you. And then they could put up advertisement of these fucking skinny jeans and all the different things for you to spend your money to give to them. And now you're buying into their community, but your own community is messed up. But the scriptures dissect that. It lets you know to come together. You know what I'm saying? Stop buying from them. According to Deuteronomy, when Deuteronomy, the blessing, it says we were supposed to be the head and not the tail. They supposed to come borrowing from us, but we go to them to borrow from them. Okay? And that's all because we was rebellious. Okay, being rebellious is not getting along, not caring about your own brother, selling him drugs to make sure your pockets and your refrigerator stay full. And say, yo, look, if you don't get it from me, you're going to get it from somebody else. Because I used to think like that. Long as your pockets is full and you getting good, hungry, you all right. So first of all, you got to know who your enemy is. And you got to know who's in your corner. Who's the number one person in your corner? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Who's your enemy? Esau and the nations. Then you got the Sambo niggas. That's of your own people. Dissect that.
Rats are much less likely to take the drugs. Both of these studies present an interesting idea. Addiction is much less likely to occur when you have greater access to alternative ways to meet your own desires. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius said that we were born to work together like feet, hands and eyes, like the two rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these are unnatural. People are a product of their environments a lot more than we like to think. By acknowledging this, we can have more compassion for one another, but more importantly, we can begin helping one another by providing people with as many.
That's why you're not wanted to their community. Because they say when you come in their community, you fuck it all up. So they want to keep you like the rats in an environment, feed you poison, make you self-mutilate yourself. And they can stay on control. They can stay on top, and they can stay on control, be in control, and also have you be a slave and work you hard for pennies, peanuts, and it ain't even enough to pay your rent. So you're constantly going back into that system that they created of failure because you won't come to Mashiach Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. And you won't deal with your brother right. And you won't check your brother. And you won't come back to the commandment. So you all messed up. The only way out for you is death. Unless you repent and come back to these oracles of God, which is the scriptures.
Opportunities as possible for learning and alternative ways to meet their needs, we can eradicate the problem of self-discipline. One of my favorite places to learn is the Great Courses Plus. They're giving all of our viewers a free trial that gives you access to top-notch lectures and courses from some of the best professors in the world. They have a huge library of over 10,000 videos about nearly anything you can think of. Science, philosophy, cooking, and even photography. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll enjoy the course.
Now, let's go back to the scriptures. Go to Matthew. Chapter 6, verse 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, which we should be doing, and his righteousness. And all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for tomorrow. Yeah, don't think about what tomorrow, what we're going to do tomorrow, how I'm going to do. Say Lord's willing, because the Lord will provide for you. That's what he was trying to show you when you was walking through the wilderness. To have faith on me, I will provide for you. But you murmured and moaned over that. Take therefore no thought for tomorrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Okay? Now that was Matthew 6:33. Let's go to Mark 8. Mark chapter 8, 36 to 37. Let's start at 35. Mark 8:35. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel, the saved shall save it. So we saying this. The Most High, the Yahweh Shah saying this. If you lose it, and don't worry about what people think. Okay, don't worry about your surroundings. Don't worry about the government saving you, and put your trust in your heart with Him. That's losing your life and not worrying about what your parents say. Even your parents might throw you out. You're going to be tried. But for His sake, you will gain your life. Okay? You will gain your life. You'll gain your soul. Okay? You'll have protection from Him. And then it says, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world? Yeah, you can have the money and all that and lose his soul. Because the Most High He can switch that situation around. Take that, your money, and then also take your soul, your spirit. All right? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Yeah, what can you give in exchange for your soul? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me, yeah. Oh, I don't want to talk about Mashiach Yahweh Shah, my job. I don't want to go out in this corner and preach the gospel. I want to stay and put my coins under a napkin. Shame on you. Shame on you. Ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, and that is so true, adulterous, sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of a Man be ashamed, when he come in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. And when he come, it ain't nothing pretty, son. It ain't nothing pretty, son. All right? And the last one is Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 5. And we're going to go to 15 to 16. See then that you walk circumspectly. Okay, let's see what that means, buddy boy.
Strong's G 199. Akribos.
Akribos. Exactly, accurately, diligently. Okay, so be diligently in this truth. Be diligent in praying. Be diligently showing love to your brother that's in the circumcision first and foremost. Okay? So you could be an example to the other ones, to the other flock. And Lord willing, the Lord open their eyes and bring them into the light. And it says, a derivative of the same as Akron.
Strong's G 206. Akron. Thayer's Lexicon. Akras.
Okay, so be careful. All right, watch your steps, because you know the devil's out here to try to mess you up. And the heathens, they ain't got no love for y'all. Okay, they don't got no love for us. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to think about it. How would somebody love you when your own kinsmen don't love each other? And the Lord said it would be like that. Once again, it goes back to the oracles of the Most High. Redeeming, verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Wherefore, be not unwise, but understand that the will of the Lord is, and be not drunk with wine wherein excess, but be filled with the Holy Spirit. Be filled with the oracles of God, not of the things of the world. You being in the things of the world, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to be of the things of the oracles of the Most High, which is those commandments. Speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns. Hymns are spiritual songs. Songs are like spiritual Bible songs. And spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord. Giving thanks always. Do you give thanks always to the Lord? Even the ones of the circumcision that's talking about preaching the gospel of good news. Because, we could fall off too. We ain't exempt. what it says. 19. Speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord, giving thanks always for all things unto the Most High and the Father, to power and the Father in the name of the Lord Mashiach Yahawashai, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of the Lord. That's it. So self-control and discipline. Okay? Will help you in the hour of temptation. Brother Shema, hope you was edified. Another episode of Performing Arts. Shalom, brothers. Peace.